morning, everyone. How are you today? My name is Julie, and you are watching this. Facebook has got me all thrown off this morning. It doesn't take much sometimes. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Faulty. You are either watching this video on my Facebook channel, I'm telling you, my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. So good morning. I went to go live this morning and Facebook has made again a bunch of changes and I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I bought this gigantic monitor so that I could see the videos well, or see myself. And right now I'm in a little box on my screen that's about that big, and I don't know how to fix it or change it. But I'm very blind, and so when things are very little, it's hard for me. And but yeah, I guess I don't really need to see myself, but just throwing me off as usual. Doesn't take much sometimes to throw me off. So let's get the light going here. I forgot to do that this morning. Don't like it real bright. I try not to get the glare on my glasses, but there's not much I can do about that. So today we are going to be talking about crown chakra, what it is. Let's get that stupid song in my. What it is and what is it good for? But that's basically what we're gonna do today. And so I'm going to just smudge a little bit real quick here. You gotta be kidding me. Like every letter I have in this house is dead or dying. The other night when the hurricane was coming through, I was trying to light some candles and I was like, I cannot find a lighter that friggin' works in this house. Which I'm a double fire sign, so I was not happy about that. Alright, so we've got a little bit of sage going. We'll see if the Palo Santos is going to light. It has not lit for me the last few times. But yeah, we're going to talk about crown chakras today. So, to me, it's kind of an important one. I mean, I think they're all important, but I think the crown chakra is a pretty important one. Alright, so we're going to let those go. So you're probably going to see the smoke come across the screen. Don't panic. I'm not on fire. Okay, and is that it? We don't have to pull a card today because we did that on Monday. And so I guess we're just good to go here. Alright, so I'm freezing this morning. I actually have the fireplace going next to me here. We just have one of those electric fireplaces, but I woke up this morning and it was 52 degrees outside. So we went from like 100 degrees and high humidity to this morning it's 52 degrees here. So I'm chilly this morning, but anyway, let's jump right in here. So I always think I'm like, I don't have enough to talk about for an hour, and then I always manage to go over my time. So all right, so where is your crown chakra? It's right at the top of your head. It's actually where your soft spot was. So we all know, well, maybe we don't all know, but when a baby is born, it has a soft spot, which is a little opening at the skull. And as the baby gets a little older, the hole closes up. So the skull almost kind of like, I guess, keeps growing. I'm not real scientific-y, so, but over time it closes. And so that is our crown chakra right at that spot. So most of you probably won't be able to feel it. Some of us can. I have like a small little indent right there. So I'm thinking that's probably where it was for me. Either that or my mother dropped me on my head as a small child. One or the other, I'm not sure. And in a nutshell, if I had to break it down into one sentence, your crown chakra is what connects you to source. So whether you want to call that God, you want to call it Gaia, the creator, and over all the religions, there are lots and lots and lots of different names for the source to go by. I will refer to it as the source or Gaia, typically, are the two that I tend to refer to. Some is the divine, the mother, like there's so many, I can't even go over them all. In other countries, in other languages, and all those, and it wouldn't be pretty, and it would be boring, and I probably wouldn't pronounce half of them right. But whatever your religious belief is, your crown chakra is that connection to them. So like I said, it sits right at the top of your head, and I kind of wrote, I'm not sure, I don't think we've gone over the violet flame. I think we've talked about it a couple of times, but I don't know if we've actually gone over the violet flame. I will have to go back and look, because if I haven't done one yet, I will. Because we're in August and we're on the crown chakra, and then we've got one more chakra to do out of the book, because I've been following the book each month. And let's see here. So we'll have one in September, and that's the soul star chakra. So we'll have that in September. But October, November, and December, there will be no more chakras, which I kind of was okay with that, because that's the time we get into a lot of different holidays and a lot of different stuff. And so I was like, well, if we don't have as many videos or whatever, that's, probably fine. But I'm going to write a note in purple. This is violet flame, and I'm going to check. Because I know like I said, I know we've talked about it, but I don't know if I actually did a full video for you on it. But so if I didn't, this definition is kind of gonna not really totally make sense unless you already know what the violet flame is. So your crown chakra is a disc of light that emanates what we call the violet ray of compassion and protection. All right, so again, I don't know if I did a video, but if I did and I find it, I will put a comment in here with the link for it for you. And if I didn't, like I said, I will schedule it in for like October. I know that's a ways, but October will be here before we know it. All right. So moving on anyway, if your crown chakra is opened and balanced, that's what you want, right? You want an open and balanced chakra. It means you are aware of your connection to source. And again, I'm going to just use the word source. You can fill in the word with whatever you like to call it, him, her, whatever. So I go her because I guess I just associate it with Mother Earth and Gaia, and so her. But anyway, an open and balanced chakra is awareness of your connection to the source. So you feel connected to whatever that is for you. You feel connected to God. You feel connected to, and I'm sorry, I don't really know a lot of other different religious, like I know a lot of different gods and goddesses and deities and things like that, but Odin, you feel connected to Odin. That's the first one that comes to mind for me. So you feel connected to them. You feel like they're with you. You feel like, you know, to me, it's just an overall, a more happy feeling, I guess, is the way I would describe it. So compared to a blocked or inactive crown chakra is where you're going to feel disconnected, not just from source, but usually from kind of people in general. You're going to feel unsure. You're going to, question a lot of things, where an open and balanced one is when we have a lot more hope and a lot more faith. So that's like a big one, right? Is faith. Like we just trust. We trust in source. We trust in God. We trust in Gaia. We trust in the Creator. We trust in the divine. You get the picture. We have faith and we trust and we have hope and we feel connected. And blocked is disconnected, unsure, questioning things. The people that like, why is this happening to me? And why does this happen to me? And why did this happen? And why am I getting bad stuff? And it's like, for me, even when something bad happens to me, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate. I don't have a lot of bad things going on in my life. But when something happens, I trust that there's a reason. There's either a lesson in it or there's a reason in it. And this is like a really cheesy example, but a year ago back, I was running late for work, and just one of those days I couldn't seem to get out of my own way no matter what I did. I was like rushing around, and everything I did was just wrong. Like I was dropping things, got mascara all over myself, and it's like the more I was trying to be on time, the worse things were happening. And I finally went out the door, and as soon as I stepped off the step, I fell flat on my face and covered in mud, dirty, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And so I had to get up and come back in the house, and I messaged my boss and let her know. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be late. And I'm like, I fell down, I gotta go in, I gotta get washed up, I gotta, and when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I don't think I was supposed to be in my car and on the road at that time. Something, someone, source, creator, whatever you want to call it again, was keeping me from my spirit guides, I don't know, keeping me from being on the road. I was not supposed to get in my car and be on the road at that time. And so they were doing everything they could to make sure that I did not get in my car. And that's the way I look at it. And maybe I'm full of horse malarkey, but that's the way I choose to look at it, instead of like, oh, why did this happen to me and stuff. So again, that was kind of a cheesy example, but just when these things happen to us, I tend to have faith and trust in what's going on, that there's a reason or a lesson in there for me, and where a lot of other people don't have that. So that would be an indicator that their crown chakra would be blocked. There are people who have an overactive crown chakra, and I'm not going to get into that too much because those are usually the people that most of us don't want to talk to. They are the ones that, and not always, but in my opinion, they're the ones that kind of seem like religious fanatics. They're like over the top about it, and they don't stop talking to you about it. Like I love talking about my spiritual stuff and my metaphysical stuff and my crystals and my oils and stuff, but I don't go and insert that in every conversation I have. You know, I have conversations all day long that don't include any of this stuff. Mostly because I have to go to work, but those are people who tend to kind of come off as religious fanatics. I don't want to like stereotype because it's not always that way, but a lot of those religious fanatics and people in cults and things like that tend to have it's overactive. So, you know, balanced is what we want. I know everybody's like, I want my crown chakra wide open. And it's like, do you? You know, do you really? No, you want it balanced. You want you want your chakras all to be balanced because when, like I said, we've gone over this, the other chakras, when things are open too wide, we tend to get a little wonky and a little weird and do things that really are not normal or even sometimes acceptable behavior. So you want all your chakras to be nice and balanced. So if you are, if your chakra is blocked, we know that working with purple stones is going to work, and we're going to get into that next week. So next week we're going to talk about all the different tools, the tarot cards, the rune, stones, oils, herbs, deities, archetypes, all that stuff is what we cover next week. So if you want to work on your crown chakra because you think your crown chakra is either blocked or overactive, all these herbs and everything we're going to talk about for tools is going to help balance you. It's going to help bring you back to balance. So whether you're blocked or overactive, all those things are going to do that for you. Again, I get sidetracked here, but a lot of people will think if my crown chakra is already overactive and I work with amethyst, it's going to make it even more overactive. And that's not true. The stones know what they're doing. They're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. These stones, every stone has the has a certain energy vibration. And what the stone is going to do, the crystal, gemstone, whatever you want to call it, is going to help bring your vibration to match this vibration. So if you're underactive, this is going to help bring your vibration up. If you're overactive, it's going to help bring the vibration down to match. So it's not like power, and you're just going to keep, like if I have on like all this amethyst, it's not like my crown chakra is going to be huge and open and wide. It's going to help bring it all to balance. So I always like to go over that because people are like, I can't use it because my crown chakra is already overactive, so I can't wear any amethyst. And it's like, nope, that's not true. So other things you can do besides using all the tools, which, like I said, we'll talk about next week. You can meditate, and you can do some mantra work if you want as well. Those are good. And then again, always the things like that we talk about. You can do some yoga, will help. Anything like that. Journaling is good as well. Any of the things that we talk about when we do the weekly forecast. All right. Sometimes I can't read my own writing. I wrote, we are by nature spiritual beings. And we naturally want to feel connected to something. And a lot of times people, when they don't feel connected, again, are very, and it's not to say that people that aren't connected are this, but it tends to go together. They're normally very sad. They're usually people who feel alone. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand, back and forth. So people who tend to be very lonely and sad tend to question God, source. There can't be a God. If there was, why would I be so lonely? There can't be a God because if there was, we wouldn't have COVID. There can't be a God because if there was, we wouldn't have hungry children. That kind of thing. So those are a good indicator that your crown chakra is blocked. But those people are tend to not be connected, and I find a lot of times as we're younger, we don't tend to be very connected unless you're typically raised in a somewhat religious. I'm not going to say like crazy religious, because I have family members who are not crazy religious people, but they do go to church every Sunday. They're faithful. They go to church every Sunday. I don't believe that going and sitting in a building with a bunch of other people is going to bring me closer to source, but some people do. So, and that's okay. That's their belief. That's, if that makes them feel connected, then that's what they can go do. But so in a family like that, their children may grow up feeling quite connected to source. Where my family, I went to Sunday school a little bit when I was younger, but that was about it. And I went to church a couple times with my gram, who has now passed, and I went to church a couple of times with those family members that, like I said, they go to church every Sunday. So I went to church with them a couple of times. But that was about it for my religious upbringing, and then I won't go into all this stuff, but in my 20s, I kind of went through, like, I didn't believe in God or any kind of creator. And then in my 30s, I started to question things. And I think that's kind of a normal progression for most of us. As we get a little older, in our 30s, we start to question things a little bit. And then we get into our 40s and our 50s, and we want to know a little bit more and understand a little bit more. And as we get a little older, we want to feel that connection. We want to feel that there's a better place out there for us. We want to know that when this life ends, we've got somewhere that we're going to go that's beautiful, and that it's not just a black abyss and all those things. So I think it's a natural progression for us, for most of us, unless like I said, unless you were raised in a somewhat religious family anyway, then you probably have a little bit of a jump start on that. But yeah, I didn't get really interested in any of this until mid 30s or so. But anyway, we're spiritual by nature. And that's where we came from, and that's where we're going to go back to. And in my opinion, that's where we're going to come from again and go back to, and come from again and go back to. But so one of the other things that I wanted to talk about a little bit is, so one of the parts of your crown chakra being open and being receptive, and you being receptive, is really saying yes. So if you're someone who is questioning everything, and and I tend to see, like, a lot of people are like very scientific or more on the religious spiritual side. Like, I don't consider myself religious. I consider myself spiritual. And I do think there's a little difference in the vocabulary there, but so I consider myself a spiritual person and not necessarily a religious person. But part of opening your crown chakra is just saying yes. So it's that that leap of faith, that they talk about it for God. It's the same thing. It's this, like I said, I believe they're all they're all the same person. I don't believe it's your God and my God. I believe they're all the same gods. We just call them, everybody calls him or her by different names. So I think that's really all it is. I don't think that it's a your God and my God situation. Again, but that's my opinion. There's a lot of other people out there that have that opinion, but not the mass majority of people. But saying yes, having that leap of faith, giving yourself over to, like I said, trusting that things happen for a reason, and trusting that there's a lesson in there for you, trusting that things are not given to you that you can't handle. And I've said that to people and they get mad. They're like, nope, this is too much for me. I can't do it. I can't take this. It's just too much. And it's like, no, it's not. You got this. Like, I know it sucks right now, but you got this. Like, you're going to get through this. It's going to suck for a little while. And I'm not laughing because I think people suffering is funny. It's just, it's like, I really do honestly believe that we are not given more than we can ever handle. So, again, it's just that saying yes, and that having that leap of faith, I guess. So, moving over to some more things for having a nice balanced crown chakra is, and sometimes I struggle with this one, and that goes back to my throat chakra and my root chakra issues. But it all goes together. It really is all, even though sometimes it seems really messy, it does all go together. Your words, your actions, your thoughts, your decisions, everything affect your crown chakra. So, again, that's why we use mantras, right? Positive affirmations, those kind of things. Because when you constantly tell yourself or tell people, I'm going to be poor forever. I don't have enough money. I'm broke. I don't have enough food. I don't have enough friends. Nobody's ever going to love me. All of those things, you're putting that type of energy out there, and unfortunately that's kind of what you're going to get back most of the time. So it's the same with the crown chakra. So if you're constantly putting statements and thoughts and words and actions out there that are going against the source in your crown chakra, and your crown chakra being open, that is what's going to happen. But really, I really think the key in there is your own thoughts. I think that's like the biggest thing is your own thoughts, because sometimes we have to do some actions that maybe we don't agree with, but we have to do them. Or we kind of have to say things to people sometimes that we don't really want to say to people, or we sugarcoat things. There's always little things like that happen. I'm not saying it's okay to go out and lie to people or anything like that, but sometimes our things have to just, it's real life. People are like, oh, you have to speak the truth all the time, and it's like, well, I don't necessarily think that's true. I go with it more like you speak what's best for their higher good. And I guess in some way that makes me kind of deciding. But I like to, again, think of it as I'm following my intuition on it. So you can turn that around and make it whatever you want. But I like to think that I'm following my intuition, and for higher good, someone's higher good. So sometimes we don't tell people something because if we tell them something, it's going to hurt them, and maybe there's no reason to tell them now. Maybe it was something that happened a long time ago, or there's nothing they can do about it, or whatever the situation is, and you decide not to tell them about it. So anyway, again, I'm getting off track here. So let me come back. But so I really think the key on that is your thoughts. So really your honest, true thoughts I think is the really big one there. Because like I said, sometimes we have to say things or do things or make decisions that are not normally the decisions we would want to make. But there's situations and things going on that maybe we really just can't control, and they have to happen. So I really think the biggest thing is your thoughts, your internal thoughts. So you really have to, even though you might be saying something you don't really want to say, in your head you know that, right? So that's the important thing, like your thought. So I sometimes I get rambling and I don't think I've made much sense, or I don't explain it well. So if that's confusing to anybody, I apologize, and please always comment or send me a private message if I say something and you're like, what the hell does she mean? What the hell is she talking about? Just private message me or put a comment in there, and I will let you know. Try to help explain things better, because sometimes, like I said, I get rambling and then I get off on side stories and don't always come back to where I should be. But the big thing for your crown chakra is really, in my opinion, the biggest and most important thing is your thoughts. If you are, again, in the negative space, then your crown chakra may be blocked. So, crown chakra is also where comprehension and interconnectedness. It's a long one. I was like, God, I got to write that good, because I have a hard time with reading my own writing, and I'm like, that's a long word. If I get scribbly at the end, I'm not going to have a clue what I wrote there. So comprehension and interconnectedness, and that's just really, like I said, a big fancy word for feeling connected to source. Let's see what else I wrote here. An open and balanced crown chakra. Okay, I wrote down, and I've kind of covered this, is realizing life isn't meant to be a struggle. So again, we'll just kind of go over that a little bit. But I have a lot of people in my life that are constantly, why is this happening to me? There can't be a God if this is happening to me. Bad stuff happens to me all the time. It's just another thing on top of something else. That kind of, I see it a lot in Facebook, and I see it a lot in personal conversations with people. And people tend to, and it's natural. I'm not judging anybody at all. It's natural when things happen and go wrong. And then, again, when it's like, okay, I've lost my job, my car broke, it's a country western song, sorry. When I lost my job, my car broke down, my dog died. And again, I'm not laughing because I think that's funny. It's just, it's very country western song there. But when those things happen, it's very natural for, to be like, oh, I just, another thing, I can't take anymore. This is too much for me. I can't handle it. And having a nice, open, balanced crown chakra is going to give you more of the perspective of, there's a lesson in here. You lost your job. Okay. So the lesson in there may be it was a negative environment and you shouldn't have been there. I had that happen to me. I got fired, and I didn't understand for the longest time. And then it dawned on me that it was a very negative environment. It was a bad place for me to be. It was not healthy for me, and I was not going to leave on my own. It was too much money, and so I stayed for the money, and I was miserable and rotten. And I came home and was miserable and rotten, and I was miserable and rotten to the people I worked with, because there was people that were miserable and rotten to me there, and it was just a really vicious circle, and I was not a happy or a nice person, and I wasn't going to leave on my own, because, like I said, it was good money. um, and so I got fired, and I think it was because there was a reason. It was a bad environment for me, and I wasn't supposed to be there, and I wasn't going to leave on my own. So Source stepped in and took care of it. As far as your car broke down, I'm just going with those same examples. Your car broke down, and maybe the lesson in that is maybe you need to walk more. I know that's silly, but maybe it was, again, time for a new car, and you weren't going to let go of the old car, and so Source stepped in and was like, okay, now you need a new car. That one wasn't safe, and maybe she's dreaming. Maybe that car wasn't safe, and so Source stepped in and made it so you have to get a new car. I don't know. Those are just, and your dog died. There was probably no lesson necessarily in there, but the truth of the matter is, it's going to happen to all of us eventually, and it's just their time. It was his time, her time, and we have to trust and have faith that they've gone to a place that they're okay, and when it's time, they'll come back. And usually we kind of, and again, I don't want to get off on too many different things here, but I believe when we come back, we have a basic group that we are intermingled with. So as far as, like, for me, my husband, my children, my parents, we're gonna all, when we reincarnate, we're gonna probably all come back somehow together. We won't be the same people, obviously, and we won't necessarily, my husband won't necessarily be my husband next time. He could be my dad, which would be really, like, weird, but he could be my dad, he could be my son, I could be the man, he could be the woman, but that's a whole other thing. But that's part of that trust for me, that it's not just the end, it's not just goodbye. When my husky died, it was very devastating for me, and it was quite a few years ago, and it was very devastating for me. And now I know that somewhere along the lines, our paths are going to cross again, and I'm going to see her again. And that's just my opinion, and that's how I feel, and it makes me feel connected, and it makes me feel happy, and makes me feel not sad. And so and because I think our time here on this planet is short, and I don't want to spend it angry and sad. I have more of the anger than sad. That's my big issue, is anger. I get angry very easily, and I tend to hold on to it sometimes a little too long. And so I have to tell myself my own sayings: breathe through it, process it, and let it go. All right. So, again, going to say that again. Open and balanced crown chakra is you realizing life isn't meant to be a struggle. There is a reason or a lesson in everything, and you are never given anything more than you can handle. So unfortunately, if life is really shitty for you, that means you're probably a pretty strong person, and you're a lot stronger than you probably realize you are. And I know that's kind of crappy, but that's just the way I think it is. I wrote down, there should be, and I can't read that word, there should be something in, I think it's supposed to be flow. It doesn't look like flow. There should be flow and ease in your life. And again, when I say that, that doesn't necessarily mean, and this, we're kind of going off more about some life experiences here, but really it does all, really does come back to the crown chakra and your connection to source. But again, if you have that leap of faith, that you know life is not a struggle, that you know things happen for a reason, or a lesson, and you know things are not given to you that you can't handle, that is going to give you, I don't necessarily want to say peace of mind necessarily is the right word, but it's going to help you when these things happen to you to accept them and work through them, I think, a little bit better. And again, that day I fell down was like a really cheesy example of it. But I could have got up that day, and when I fell down, I could have got up. I could have been mad. I could have been pissed off. I could have, all kinds of things. I could have spent my whole day mad about it, because again, that's my thing, is anger. But I didn't, because I was just like, okay, I got it. I got the message. Thank you. I'm good now. I'm not where I'm not supposed to be. Stop. Stop. I got the message. I'm good. Thank you. And I do that kind of stuff a lot. Like when something's going on and something's going wrong, and things, I'm like, okay, I got it. Thank you. There's a message here. I'm listening. I think I understand now. And so, but when things do happen, and again, I'm very fortunate. I don't have a lot of things going, wrong in my life. But when these things happen, I have a sense of it's going to be okay. I know it sucks right now, but it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. There's a reason for this. We just have to figure it out, and we'll get through it. So it makes it a little bit easier for me, and hopefully, it will for you as well, to maneuver through some of life's things that we consider struggles, and that we can maybe make it a little less of a struggle. And again, if you lose your job, you're going to have some struggles, because you're going to have financial issues, and you're going to, whatnot. I'm not saying like you just open your crown chakra and there'll be no more struggles. Because like I said, this is real life. We have to cope with the muggle parts of things. But I think in understanding why maybe you got fired, there was a negative, toxic person that you shouldn't have been around. It was time for you to maybe be somewhere else. I think that happens a lot for people. They get fired, and then they might struggle for a little while and whatnot, but then all of a sudden you'll see on Facebook, or you'll talk to them, and they're like, I found the best job ever. I can't believe I found this job. I'm so lucky. And it's like, yeah, if you were still at that other job, you wouldn't have found this job, and you wouldn't be where you're supposed to be, kind of thing. So big picture, I guess, kind of stuff. There's a reason, there's a lesson. We just need to sometimes even have faith that we may not understand it, but that eventually it will reveal itself to me. I had a little bit of a hard time with that to begin with. I know a couple other people that are having a hard time with that. It's sometimes you just have to sit back and And like I said, I'll say, hey, listen, I get it. There's a message coming through. There's a lesson to be learned. I don't know what it is yet, but I got it. You know, I got this a lesson. I'm good. And sometimes it takes a while before I get the answers, or it makes itself clear, or, you know, however you want to word it, that it comes through to you, and or clicks, you know, everything clicks. Oh, that makes sense now, kind of thing. But having that faith that you're going to get through it, there is a reason, it'll be okay, and it makes the day-to-day part of the struggle a little easier, in my opinion. So, just to finish up here, because we just have a few more minutes here, some of the things that you may hear or use for terminology, or I don't know, sometimes I struggle, no, a lot of times I struggle with words, because I think, and again, sidetrack here, I think a lot of times words are kind of given over time meaning that wasn't really meant to be their meaning. And so sometimes I don't like using certain words. There's obviously words I don't like to use for obvious reasons. But even regular, like English language words, sometimes I think the meanings get turned into something that they're really not supposed to be, or really weren't meant to be. So anyhow, some of the things you may hear when people talk about crown chakra is divine wisdom. And again, that is just that connection with source. Divine wisdom and channeling wisdom are, to me, kind of the same thing. So if you're receiving divine wisdom, you're channeling wisdom. So to me, that's kind of like the same thing, but there are two different things that you may hear, is that I've received divine wisdom, or I'm channeling wisdom. So those are two different terms that you might hear that are really, to me, the same thing. The other one you might hear, which is more of a new modern thing, is I've received a download. A lot of people will say, oh, I just received a download. And so what it is, again, is it's that channeling of wisdom. It's, you know, just everything now is computer technology. It's either an upload or a download. So sometimes people will say, I just received a download. And it's the same thing as channeling wisdom or divine wisdom, receiving divine wisdom. Connection to the divine. And again, we've already gone over the divine could be God, or any of the other millions of names out there for all the different gods. So it's connection to fill in the blank. Some of the other things for crown chakra you might hear are spirit guides, angelic beings, ancestral guides, are some of the other ones that you may hear. So spirit guides, angel guides, ancestral guides. Sometimes people will talk about their team. A lot of times people talk about their team, or their, yeah, I guess team. I was going to say group, but I don't think I really ever heard anybody say group. Their spirit group, their spirit team, spirit guides. I guess team is more, I don't know if I've heard people say group too much, but, to me, again, if your crown chakra is open, and again, your third eye is open as well, because that kind of, to me, goes together. Your connection to your spirit guides, your angelic guides, your ancestral guides, whatever, again, I think a lot of it are all the same. I think they're just called different things. So, but those are terms you'll hear. And when your third eye chakra is open and your crown chakra is open, you're going to be very open to receive that wisdom, the channeling, the downloading, divine wisdom, all of those. So those are terms that you'll hear where some of that channeling and some of that wisdom is going to come from, is your spirit team, your guide team, whatever you want to call it. Other things you might hear when you're people refer to, you're not going to, I don't want you to be confused with me saying when your crown chakra is open, you're going to hear these things. Like, I'm not saying you're going to all of a sudden start hearing the dead or hearing messages. I'm saying when people are talking about having an opened chakra, crown chakra, these are things they will be talking about. And one of the things I have found is I know people who their crown chakra is open and it was just like, bam, it's open, or their third eye is, bam, it's open. There was a block there and they got through it somehow. Something happened, whether it was emotional or energetic or whatever. And all of a sudden they're like, I have no idea what's going on right now. And it's like, all right, sit down. This is going to be a long talk. So I'm just trying to go through some of the terms. If you went to somebody and say, I don't know what's going on, this like is really freaky, and you know, they might say, well, you're getting some downloads from your spirit guides. All right, and you're like, what the hell does that mean? So just kind of giving you a little bit of the terminology, I guess, is to understand what someone may, if you're talking to someone about a crown chakra, what they may be saying to you. Or I may have used it in videos, or I may use it going forward, and I like to have people understand what I'm saying without having to necessarily go back and recap the whole thing in a future video. So that's where sometimes when I say something, I'll say, you can go back and watch the video on this, or you can watch the video on that, or whatnot. And so I just kind of want everybody to try to understand what I'm talking about, because why watch the videos if I'm going to use a bunch of terms or words that you don't know what they mean. So one of the other things for a crown chakra being open is you may hear people talking about, or you may have heard other people talking about and don't know what it means, between realms. So again, I do have a video. It's not specifically about crown chakra fundamentals, but it's about the veil and the thinning of the veil and what that means and stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can go back and watch that video, and that will clear up some things hopefully for you from there. But that's one of the things when your crown chakra is open, is people will say that you have a better connection between the realms, the here and the there. So those are things that you might hear come up. So I just wrote a couple of little things here quick, and because I've only got a few minutes left, but we know our root chakra is our where our creativity comes from. But our crown chakra is where a lot of our inspiration comes from. And they are two different things. That's my phone telling me it's time to go. So I could be very creative and have no inspiration. Or I could have all kinds of inspiration and no idea how to be creative with it. So they are two different things. So your creativity is in your root chakra. Your inspiration, your guidance, all that is in your crown chakra. So if you're a creative person and you are not getting inspired, we hear about people who write books and they've got writer's block. that could be a crown chakra issue. And they could maybe work with some amethyst. And again, we're going to talk next week about all the different tools you can use to work with if you have a crown chakra blockage. It is the seat of your spiritual power, and it is your connection to source, which I've said that multiple times, but I really think that's a very important part of our crown chakra. It's also our sovereignty. So, there's a lot of things going on with our crown chakra. And when our crown chakra is blocked, again, I think there's so many chakras that are important for all different kinds of things. Like our heart chakra is where our compassion and our kindness comes from, our love comes from. And so that's important. Our third eye is important for our intuition. Our root chakras and our lower chakras are good for safety and confidence and all those things. So they're all good for very different ways. But I think our crown chakra is super important. And I probably said this with every video. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch. But your crown chakra is very important because with a blocked crown chakra, life is probably not going to seem so great for you. And I know having a blocked heart chakra, and feeling lonely and not loved is not great either. So again, they're all important for different ways. But even if you have an open heart chakra and you're like, I got all this love, I want to give it, and I want to, but you're just really struggling through life in general, is that really still a life you want to lead? I'm not sure. Some people might be like, hey, I'm okay with it. It is what it is. And those people really frustrate me, but it's their decision. I'm not here to fix or change or solve anything for anybody. I'm here to educate and enlighten and encourage. And if you don't want to be enlightened or educated or encouraged, then I guess you can go your way and I'll go mine. And if you change your mind, come on back. But anyway, I just feel like a lot of people out there who are, really struggling through life, they probably have a crown chakra blockage. And, just a little bit of work with that. And things could change, for them. And I think a lot of times, and I'm not a chakra expert, I'm just speaking off my own experiences and my own observations and classes I've watched and whatnot. And so if you don't agree, that's completely fine. Again, I'm not here to change you or change your opinion on things. I'll give you mine, and if it makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, well, that's okay too. But I think a lot of people who have a blocked crown chakra, I don't think the approach for me, if somebody came to me and said, this is what's going on in my life and blah, 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 and all this, and I said, I think you have a blocked crown chakra, my approach is not going to be, you need to believe in the source and you need to have faith. That would not be my approach. My approach would be, let's find some crystals to work with, let's find some oils to work with, or herbs, or maybe somebody says, oh, I can't stand the smell of things, so then I'm definitely going to say, okay, well, you need maybe need some crystals. Or I've had people say, crystals aren't going to do anything for me. And I'm like, okay, let's try something else. And you kind of work into it. And as the person does the work themselves, because again, I'm not here to do the work for you. You got to do the work yourself. As the person does the work, they may come back to me and say, this week's been a lot better, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I could try that crystal. And so, okay, now we're going to try the crystal. and then a couple of weeks they come back and they're like, I am feeling so much better and blah blah blah, and they are going to take themselves to the point where they're going to have the faith and they're going to believe in source. I can't tell them, I can't make them, I'm not here to just change your opinion. I'm going to give you the tools or help you figure out which tools are best for you, and then you're going to go do the work, and then when your crown chakra is open, you're going to come back to me and tell me all the amazing things that are going on in your life, all the things that have changed in your life. So and that's my inspiration, I guess. I hope that made sense to everybody. I hope that something in this video helped someone. You know, I kind of make a joke about it, but it's really true. I don't plan to be a YouTube star. I don't plan to have thousands of followers. I think on YouTube right now I have like 37 subscribers. It might be nice to make it to 40, but I'm not in this for the big, I'm not in it to be famous. I'm not in it to be popular or anything like that. But I do hope that this video in some way, even if it's just a teeny tiny little way, helps one person, then I feel like this video was worth making. I don't need thousands of followers. I don't need thousands of likes. It is nice to get the likes because then I know somebody's watched it. But a lot of times people will come up to me and tell me they've watched my video, or they'll make a comment about something in the video, and I'm like, it doesn't show any views. But like somebody sent me a message the other day and asked me a question about something in the video, but it didn't tell me that anybody had watched the video. So just technology as it is, right? So a little comment of hello, hi, watched, replay, thumbs up, whatever, lets me know that somebody's watching it. But again, I don't need that acknowledgement. I have a ton of videos out there that say they have no views. I don't know if they really do or not, but I'm going to keep making them because like I said, if this video in some small way helps one person, then it was worth an hour for me. Actually, a little more because I had to do my notes and stuff, but it was worth the time for me to make this video. So, and that is my purpose, I think, is just to help guide everybody along, give you just that little push in that direction that you need to go to. So I will see you guys all on Monday for our weekly forecast as normal. Next week on Thursday we'll talk about the tools for your crown chakra. So we'll go over all of that. Like I said, deities, gods, goddesses, runes, tarot cards, crystals, herbs, oils, archetypes, planets, all the good stuff, of all the things you could work with for your crown chakra. Again, the information I'm using is I don't know if that's the right word. I'm using this book, so it's a book from Athena Parakis, The Ultimate Guide to Chakras. This, and then my own experience and my own intuition is, but if you're interested in it and you want to learn even more than what I talked about, this is a really good book to buy. Like I have 2 pages of notes. Let me see here. I'll try to get to. I'm going over my time as usual. So let's get to today's crown chakra. So this is the crown chakra chapter, and I know you probably can't see it real great, but there is all of this. There is all of this and there's all of this, and then this is where it starts getting into the tools, actually right here. So there's this and this. So there are 2 full pages here and then 2 half pages. So there's like 3 pages here of information on the crown chakra that I obviously cannot get in. I can't do all of that in an hour. And that's why I ended up having to split out the fundamentals in the tools part, because I was trying, when I first started, I tried to get it all into one video, and that was just insane. I felt like I wasn't spending enough time to really explain anything or really be helpful. So I split it into 2 videos. But there's a lot more in the book than even what I go over. So if there's, if you're interested in chakras for just knowledge, or for yourself as like, I think my crown chakra may be blocked, you can reach out to me and I can certainly help you, or you can go on Amazon for like $12 and buy the book. I like to have the books because I like to go back and have the resources here in case I forget something and I want to go back and check it. But anyhow, I have to go. As usual, I'm going to be late for work. So I'll see you guys all on Monday. I hope everybody has a really great weekend. Get outside, take your shoes off, walk around in the grass, sand, dirt, whatever it is where you are. Get some earthing in. Here where I am in New Hampshire, August is like, summer's almost over, and I believe it's like snow's going to be here before we know it. So take your shoes off and enjoy the ground while we can, before it's frozen again for the next 6 to 8 months. So have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. I know I've already said that, but I love you guys. And as always, remember to be kind. Your kindness is not only going to help improve your day, and it will help improve your day, and it could help improve someone else's day, but it really could, believe it or not, a small word of kindness, a small gesture of kindness could potentially change someone's life. It's true. And it doesn't cost you anything. So be kind. Lots of love. Have a good weekend. Bye.